Hey Northridge Nation, today in the Northridge 4x4 do-it-yourself garage we're going to show you how to install a topliner by Coverking. That's right, we're going to cover up those dull white boring interior panels of your hardtop. It's easy to do, let's get started. Tools needed for this job are a utility knife, scissors, flat blade screwdriver, a T40 and T50 Torx bit, an extension or two, and a ratchet to drive them. To install the topliner, we need to remove the hardtop. Start by removing the trim panel above the rear hatch on the driver's side to access the defrost harness and then disconnect the harness. This plug is a simple depress the tab and slide apart. Remove the defroster plug on the rear window on the passenger side. Ours has that often seen JL broken defroster wire, so that made it simple to disconnect. Twist and pull to remove the rubber washer line from the back glass. Use a flat blade screwdriver to lift the tab and remove the rear glass strut. Use a 10mm wrench or socket to remove the 4 bolts that hold the back glass to the hardtop. Carefully set the rear window aside. Remove the front freedom panels, undo the front latches, and unlock the levers. The freedom panels will then lift right out. Use the T50 Torx bit to remove the upper 2 Torx bolts that are hidden below the freedom panels. Then use that same T50 bit to remove the 6 Torx bolts, 3 on each side, that hold the hardtop to the body tub. You can use a cordless driver to remove the bolts, just have the power set to low. Disconnect the main harness at the rear left-hand corner of the hardtop. Pull down on the red tab, depress the black tab, and wiggle the plug while pulling down. Disconnect the rear washer fluid line by depressing the silver locking tab and carefully pull the lines apart. You can now remove the hardtop. It is best to have an extra set of hands to help do this. Carefully turn the hardtop over on its roof. Set it on a soft surface to prevent any damage or scratches to the top. Remove the 2 rubber bumpers at the front of the hardtop. Pull straight out at the rear junction box cover to access the wiring harness plug and washer line. Disconnect the harness plug and washer line from the box cover and tuck the harness and hose back into the access hole in the hardtop. Moving on to the freedom panels, remove the locking levers from the freedom panels, but do not remove the main latches. Make sure you take a picture of them so you know which levers go where for reassembly. Wipe the panels down with alcohol wipes or alcohol and some shop towels. Organize the adhesive strips in piles according to their size and shape. Using the included diagram, lay out the adhesive strips into place on the freedom panels to check fitment. Remove the clear film from the adhesive strips and carefully set them in place, going back and forth with your hands to secure them evenly. Yeah, your fingers are going to get quite gummed up with the adhesive. It is what it is. Install the topliner panels into place to check for proper fit before removing the paper backing on the adhesive strips. Starting in the center strip, remove the paper backing, carefully peeling it back. If the adhesive starts lifting at any time, just go back over it with your fingers, pushing the adhesive down tight. Carefully set the topliner panel into place and start swiping back and forth to glue the topliner to the center adhesive pad. Work your way around the freedom panel, removing the paper backing and sticking down the topliner one section at a time. Once done, set these aside to let the adhesive set up. Reinstall the freedom panel locking levers to their original position. Repeat these steps for the other freedom panel. Moving to the main body of the hardtop, use the included diagram and lay out all the adhesive strips. Once you have them all in place, start at one end, removing the clear film from the adhesive and securing into place. Pro tip, you can cut the larger segments into smaller sections to make working with them easier. Just like the freedom panels, test fit the topliner into place in the hardtop before removing the paper backing on the adhesive strips. Fold the main top liner over on itself. Remove the paper backing from the adhesive strips and start securing the top liner to the hardtop. We were short one adhesive strip. We'll add that after we get a replacement. Only work on one section at a time, peeling off the paper backing and sticking down the top liner. Go over it frequently with your hands to make sure the top liner is adhered. Now it's time for the trim. There are 3 pieces. The longer one is for the front edge and the 2 shorter ones are for the sides. Install the shorter trim around the door edges, making sure it goes over the hardtop edges and the top liner to lock it in place. You may have a few areas where the top liner needs to be trimmed to fit perfectly. Use the utility knife to carefully make adjustments. Once you get to the end of the run, cut the rubber trim off to match up with the end. Repeat with the other side. We did find that a set of side angle cutters cut the metal reinforced rubber trim easier than the shop scissors did. Then move on to the front edge. We also had to trim a little of the top liner here to get it to match all the way across. We did find that the plastic edges of the scissor handles were perfect for running along the rubber trim to help seat it all the way on. With the trim installed, go back over the complete top liner with your hands to make sure everything is adhered. You know, a small roller would make this a lot easier. Once done, let the top liner sit for a couple hours to make sure the adhesive is set up. Time for reassembly. First up is to reinstall the rubber bumpers. We did have to trim the holes a little bit to get the rubber bumpers to pop into place. A small flat blade screwdriver will help pop the bumpers back into their holes. Time to get some more help to set the hardtop body back onto the Jeep. Reattach the harness to the cover box and pop it back in place. Then reattach the washer hose connection and plug the main harness back into the hardtop connector. Reinstall the hardtop side screws, running them all in until just snug, making sure they all fit before tightening them down. Do this by hand, do not use power tools. Don't forget to reinstall those 2 top torque screws in the front corners. Align the locking levers back onto the freedom panels and screw them down. Reinstall the freedom panels and make sure you have the locking levers in the right places. Hold the rear window in place, install the retaining screws and tighten down by hand. Again, no power tools. Reinstall the window struts by pressing them onto their pins. They'll snap right on. Run the defroster wire and washer hose back through the trim pieces and reinstall. Reattach the washer hose and defroster wires. That's it for the installation of the top liner in your 2018 Plus JL Wrangler. Easy to do, does take a while, but it's well worth the effort. You get really good style. You pick up a little bit of acoustic installation, a little bit of thermal insulation, and hey, you've got a great place to hang all those morale patches you've been collecting. Did you like this video? Click the like button down below. Leave us a comment. Have you subscribed yet? Why not? Hit that button too while you're at it. And while you're at it, check that description down below for a link to where you can find a top liner for your 2018 Plus JL Wrangler. Until next time, thanks Northridge Nation.